Uno, dos, tres, cuatro.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to Lady Gwendolyn's Divination Night. I am Lady Gwendolyn, and my guest tonight is Miss Regina from Angel Readings with Regina. How you doing, hon?
I'm doing good. How are you?
Good.
You look
I'm
beautiful.
so thankful. Thank you. You too. I love your hair.
Oh, thank you.
Did you just get it done?
It's easy. I did.
Did
I
you-
got it cut not that long ago. Yeah.
Yeah. I was gonna say, well, last time I seen you, it was a little bit longer,
Yeah.
but it
Got
looked
it
good.
cut.
So how are you doing?
I'm fortunately busy, but doing great. Yeah.
Good.
And doing great.
Busy's good. Busy
Yeah.
is good. So there's a lot I want to talk to you about tonight.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
and there's a lot that I didn't know about you.
Oh.
And then whenever I started preparing, I was like, that's cool. That's cool. I'm excited about this.
Oh, cool.
There's a lot that me and you actually have in common as far as things that we do.
Okay. Cool.
So I mean, you do weddings.
Yes, I do weddings. Mm-hmm.
Okay. How long have you been doing
those
that?
are fun. Those are fun. A long time. A long time. Probably, let's see, maybe like the early 2000s, roughly.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. That's awesome. I love doing weddings. I'm gonna ask you what your favorite part is, but I have a favorite part in every ceremony, like during the wedding, that I always do.
Okay. What is it? Tell me. I love to hear new ideas if I don't do it too.
When the bride comes out, always look at the groom's face.
Oh, gotcha. Okay. Yeah.
I think that is the most
The best.
amazing thing right there.
No,
Like
I
that.
think you've probably noticed that they don't they don't do it like they used to most of the time, where they see each other, before the wedding, versus don't see the bride before the wedding. The groom's already seen her, and to me, it's sort of, I mean,
Yeah, and you're right. It is not as much, but there is still something about being in that first initial moment when they connect, looking at each other, and they're like, "Oh my gosh, this is it.
yeah,
We're gonna do it. We're actually gonna get married."
and if they look terrified,
yeah.
that's a problem. No, I really love doing weddings. I'm trying to think if I have a favorite part. I think my favorite part really is just getting to know the bride and groom beforehand. I love that part, just getting to know them and what they want. And then the last wedding I did, which wasn't too long ago, they invited me to their after wedding dinner, the reception. Yeah, I guess that's a reception. Yeah. And so I was there for that. And that was really cool. That was really very nice.
do you normally stay, or do you like, I'm out when your time's over?
If I have time, if I'm free to do that, I do that. I do that. I do. Yeah, I enjoy it. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's fun.
I like it, and I like writing. I love to write, and being able to take someone's story and be able to present it to the people that show up and love and care about them the most, for everyone to feel, at least for a moment, what they feel for each other. That's fantastic.
Yes, yes, yes. I love writing too. Yeah.
Yeah.
And now I've got so many sample ceremonies. Do you have that too? I have
Yes.
something to choose from, but then it's always personalized to that couple,
Mm,
which I'm sure
yeah.
you, yeah.
No, I don't have one wedding that's even similar to each other.
Wow, that's pretty cool. You put more work into it than I do. I have
I
sample
mean,
ones.
well, I do offer. I'm like, you have this, and this, and they do like take bits and pieces from like other things,
Mhm.
like the Corinthians one and stuff like that. That one's in pretty much all of them. So, but not, you know, largely,
Yes.
like
Yeah,
um
they get the choice of. I let them know about the sand ceremony, the unity candle lighting, um, and yeah, I can't even think right now of other things that I do, but those are probably the two that people pick the most. The couples want the most. But yeah, it's really nice doing weddings. I enjoy it.
I've done family sand ones.
Yeah, yeah, family
Those
ones.
those are really cool, like the kids taking part and stuff like
Hmm.
that. And
Including the
like,
kids. Yeah,
mhm.
yeah, that's really cool. When it's a blended family.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
So, any themed weddings? Have you had any themed?
Do you mean that they've requested? I had a
No.
pajama wedding one time.
Okay.
They, for some reason, I don't even remember because it was so long ago, but the couple wanted to do the wedding in their home and they wanted it to be a pajama wedding. So
Mhm.
everybody wore their pajamas. It was it was really interesting. But I'm okay with whatever type of wedding people want.
Mhm.
It's like their wedding. I want them to be happy with their wedding. So, yeah.
Absolutely. Well,
Yeah.
I didn't actually officiate it, but I wrote it. Was a corpse bride wedding ceremony.
Oh, interesting. That sounds like
It
a
was
movie.
fun
I imagine that would be fun.
because they have the vows right there in
Mhm.
the movie. And then you just, incorporate everything else around that and theme it all
Mhm.
together. Yeah, it was pretty cool. But
That's
it wasn't mine to officiate, so
yeah, there's a
I
lot of interesting things that people come up with. And one of my other favorites is when they want to get married in the mountains. And that happens a lot because I live in Idaho, so there's a lot of mountain weddings and it's really nice. And they usually get married by some, river or something and it's gorgeous, really nice.
good.
Yep.
So speaking of writing, what else do you write? Or what else have
Well,
you written?
have I written? Well, I've only written one book so far.
Okay.
And it's basically a personal journal. And it's got a spiritual base to it. A lot of positive spiritual affirmations. And then there's at each page has one particular positive spiritual statement. And then they have lines on the page that they can write whatever comes to them, when they read that. And so I have that. And that's Touching the Divine Within, a personal journal. So yeah. Yep, that
So
was
how can they
fun.
find that?
They can go to my website, which is the angelreadingsbyregina.com. Angelreadingsbyregina.com. They will find my book and my CD. Those are the two things that I have on there that they can purchase. The CD is very similar, except that it is it's all the same kind of spiritual positive affirmations and things like that. But it's I had this guy Brian who did the beautiful music to it, and then I do the affirmations in the CD. And there's
That's nice.
sample ones on the website too. So yeah, I really enjoyed doing both, because the more that I do, I don't know about you, but the more that I do with spirituality and the more that I do with positive spirituality and positive affirmations and knowing that the universe is, abundantly giving, whenever I do that, I get wonderful things from it, like spiritually for myself.
Oh,
And
absolutely.
and so that's a big reason. In fact, that book came from that, because I had a really good friend and we used to do affirmations back and forth at, each day to encourage each other. And it was always something whatever she wrote, it was usually by email at that time. And anything that she wrote was usually something I needed that day,
Right.
and vice versa. And I just took all the ones that I wrote and basically put it into the book.
Yeah.
And yeah, so that's how that came about.
I'm telling you what, there's nothing better than an accountability buddy.
Oh, what? Oh, accountability buddy. Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
thank
Well,
you
for
for
me,
saying it right, because
I've got a dog, and I just have to tell you that he has these rules, and his rules are nobody can walk past my house or even, drive by slowly. It's against his religion. So he does that. He does that crazy barking because they decided to walk by my house. Very
all
annoying.
right. So we have to know the name of our special guest.
Bup. Pardon me, I'm getting over a cold. Bup, come here. And then I have a cat too. I'm an animal person. I have a cat
Good.
too. Her name is Autumn. I don't know where she is. She could be anywhere. Bup, come here. Come up here. Come here. He doesn't want to.
Okay. Camera shy. I get it.
He just does. You want to come up here or not? Come here. Come here. Well, come on. He keeps looking at me like he wants to, and he's wagging his tail, but he's just not doing it. Not cooperating. Sure? This is a live show. You have to hurry up. Anyway, yeah, against religion for anybody to act like they're going to be anywhere near our house. How dare they?
So you are extremely well-educated.
Well, thank you.
So can you tell you more about that? Because I'm very intrigued.
Are we talking about college education, or are we talking about spiritual education, or both?
We can go for both.
Okay.
Well, because then my follow up is, what do you suggest for someone getting started in the spiritual, where they're called to do spiritual work?
Okay, so my path with that was I went through the first the Centers for Spiritual Living, and they're all over the place. It's Ernest Holmes' Science of Mind, which is all about changing your thinking and focusing on what I was saying earlier about the universe, being there for us and not against us. But the Center for Spiritual Living has Science of Mind courses. And so I completed all those courses, and that's classes. So it's definitely an education. It's just a very spiritual education. If somebody's looking for something like that, I got a lot out of it. I started it when my kids were very little, and they're now 27 and 29. So I've been practicing that for a very long time.
And they're still going strong?
They're still going strong. My son is going through a challenge right now, so he's calling me every day asking for prayer. And so, but it's a particular kind of prayer treatment is what I call it, what it's called. And so I do that for him every day right now. But yeah, they're both. It's funny because when they were really little, I was stressed about everything, and I'm sure people can relate to this. I was just stressed, always stressed. I was a single mom, and I was worried about where money was going to come from, and am I going to be able to pay this, and am I going to be able to do that, and constantly worried, mostly about money back then.
Yeah.
And I had like this really awesome spiritual mentor from the Center for Spiritual Living. And she's still a really close friend of mine. And she still does prayer treatment for me when I feel like I need it. But she taught me this thing that I still use. And it's when I start worrying a lot about money, for example, that's a lot of what people worry about, money.
Yeah,
When I
right
start
now.
worrying about, like, if I worry about money and I'm in a place where, well, I had like a month where I was just like, this is
Yeah.
super scary. That was super scary to me.
Yeah.
And, but I kept going back to what she told me to do, which was to say to myself or out loud, cancel that. And then whatever it is that I'm thinking, like, oh, I can't, what am I going to do? How am I going to pay my mortgage? How am I going to pay my bills? Cancel that and then replace it. And the replacement is always, for me, I have everything I need, everything I want, and more, because I'm provided by a universe that is an infinite giving power. And it always works for me when I get myself into that frame of mind. And it's so funny because I used it so much when my kids were growing up that when they were teenagers, they started going, if I was being negative, they would say, Mom, cancel that. And then I'd say, you're right. And I'd cancel it and replace it with the truth, and not
Yeah.
all that fear and insecurity and everything that we get. So I did that, the Center for Spiritual Livings, but then I also did courses through, got a bachelor's in metaphysics through the University of Metaphysics, the University of Metaphysics, Sedona. So they have a Sedona College, they have a University of Metaphysics. And so I did that course, and that was a really long course and online course. And that was great. It was great. It was just added to what I was already, you know, learning myself spiritually. And spiritually, I feel like, it's like, I don't know about anybody else, but it's like it's always changing. It's always getting. I always feel like I'm getting more. I'm learning more. I'm getting more connected spiritually. And it's a process that we don't just arrive and we're like, oh, I'm so spiritual now.
No,
you know,
absolutely.
it's a process for sure.
Absolutely.
So,
Absolutely.
but anyway, so the University of Metaphysics, Sedona, University of Sedona, is where I got my bachelor's in metaphysics, and I highly recommend that too. They're really great. And then, as far as my background before any of that was, I majored in nursing and psychology and psychiatric technology. So I have a background in a lot of psychology. I worked as a nurse and as a psychiatric technician. And it's in California, which is where I got that, you have to be licensed in order to be a psychiatric technician. And you take the same state board exam as a licensed practical nurse. It's just that when in the last part of the program, the LPNs get obstetrics and something else, gynecology or something. And we get mental health and addiction and things like that as far as doing our clinicals when we do our clinicals. So, so I have that background, which I really enjoyed learning all that and working it with people with mental illness and addictions, and I'm recovering myself for buku years. I like to say I was 12 when I got clean and sober because I know how old I am. That's not. It's been a lot of years that I've been clean and sober. So yeah, that
But good
that
for you.
I have a personal expertise in. So, but
I
anyway,
mean,
so that's my educational background.
so where would you suggest someone that has received the call? Where would you suggest that the first thing that they do?
So the call for what though in particular?
The call to start spiritual or work like we do.
Okay, so so that's a tough one because there's so many options that people can take. I personally had a psychic that I went to years and years ago who did readings for me, and she kept telling me, you have this gift, and you're intuitive, you have this gift. And I knew that I had a gift because I started having dreams very young that would come true and things like that. That was my first hint that there was something going on there, but I didn't know what it was. I didn't realize that was a gift. But anyway, she's the one that taught me how to do readings. And I just do a basic deck of cards, cartomancy. I do that. That's what she taught me, and that's what I do, or did for years, and still do. And then a pendulum. But I also learned along the way too how to do angel card readings and how to do tarot card readings and all that kind of stuff. And so for me, I mean, I don't know that I have an answer to that as far as, well, you go here, go there, because I learned by people teaching me that were spiritual mentors for me and who already did the things that I was really interested in. Reiki is another one. Reiki healing is another one.
Yeah, I was going to ask you about go to that one next because that's something else that we have in common. Yeah,
I figured you and I have a lot in common.
Yes, I see. I told you.
LadyGwendolynHealing.com. That tells you a lot.
Yeah.
So
I know it's long, but to be fair, Gwendolyn, my name is just long enough. So why not add a little bit to it?
Why not? I mean, it's probably not that much different from Angel Readings by Reginia.
Hey, if you're coming to my website to learn about the stuff that I do because you need help, it's okay to write out a little bit more.
Yeah. Well, anyway, so I don't know. I think that the spiritual training that I got not just the readings, but the spiritual background that I got led me into what I'm doing now and have been doing for a long time, over 30 years now. So I don't know, like, what do you tell people? I'm curious what you tell people. What do they do if they feel like they have a calling to do readings? I do get readings where people will ask me that. That's a question. And go ahead. You go ahead. I'm really curious what you tell them.
I tell them that first they need to do their own research. Because there's a lot that people say that doesn't need to be said. I think the whole you're supposed to be gifted your first deck of cards is just stupid, because I feel like you're going to learn by using a deck that actually intrigues you.
Well, and that's the case with doing my read. I'm looking at my cards, is why I'm looking off to the right. I barely ever use them. I hardly ever use them anymore because it's more getting messages that it's come to that. It used to be that I would need the cards, and now it's just I use them occasionally because mostly it's just connecting with their angels and their spirit guides and my own to get, the answers to those questions. I often tell people meditation, because meditation helps you connect to that higher self and helps you connect to those gifts. And but you're right about that. You don't have to necessarily have gifts, because my belief is that we're given that gift. In fact, I think I just wrote a thing on my page about that it is not like, well, all of us get this gift of intuition, whether you call it prophecy, psychic, whatever, sixth sense. We all have that. I think that's given to us. That's given to us. And because you see somebody and you're like, that guy doesn't look trustworthy, or I don't feel
exactly
good around this woman. I don't feel good around this situation. I just did a reading I just did a reading right before this, where this woman, now I forgot what I was going to say. It'll come back to me. Go ahead. What were you going to say?
I forgot mine too.
Oh, we're great. We're great together.
You know what? Okay, so if you are tell me if you're like this. You get in there, you do a reading, and then when you disconnect, you disconnect. Like, don't come back to me. Like, and I know our clients do that. They will come back and like, can we pick up where we left off yesterday? No, I'm sorry, we can't. I was like,
Yeah.
I can try
because
to tap
a
in.
lot of times they'll ask the same question. And then if I do the reading again the very next day, I might get something different because the energy of things have shifted. So I always tell them, go with what I told you the first time, because the first thing that I told you, that's the most authentic and most real, because that's just, otherwise it muddies the water. It's like having 6 different psychics. Like I tell this woman, no, you're not getting back with your ex, but that's better for you because it's not a healthy situation. And this other person's going to come in that is so much better for you. And you're going to have everything that you want in a relationship with this new person versus all the struggle with this other person, And then they ask the same question the next day. And it's like, yeah, and I don't say this to him, but it's like, yeah, I just told you this yesterday. Did you forget? Did you forget?
And then whenever it comes out that it's something different than what I've said, the last 2 times, they're like, well, that's not what you said. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Things have changed.
Yeah.
What has happened? Look at the situation.
Usually what I find happens is that I let, especially women, men can do this too, but we women, we have this thing where we have to do the calling and the texting and the making plans with the guy. And a lot of guys, not every guy, but a lot of guys like to do the pursuing. They like to pursue, and they don't want to, they get bored if they can't do the pursuing part. It's like a nature thing, I mean, if you just look in nature, animals do that. 2 men are trying to get this one, animal, female. And so I tell them, don't call, don't text. I don't always get this, but a lot of times it's better if you don't call or text or contact them in any way, and just follow their lead. Just let them pursue you. Let them do the work.
Yeah.
If you feel like you're really tired from doing all the work, there's a reason for that.
Yeah.
It's not worth it. It's not worth it to do the work. Let them do the work. Let them come to you.
I do.
And they do. And I'll get that they do. I'll say, if you stop, what I'm getting is that they are going to come back to you. But even when they come back, don't start calling and texting and making plans. Let them do all of it, and you just match their efforts.
Yes, it's got to be balanced.
Yeah, don't do anything more than what they do.
Couples aren't going to be together if it's not given equally.
Exactly. exactly. Yeah. And guys have that situation too, where, they like a girl and they like a woman, and she's not responding. And it's like, I say, don't call, don't text them, let them come to you. And if they're really interested, they're going to contact you. Right. I mean, that isn't really a psychic thing. That's just,
No, because someone, okay, psychologically thinking, if someone is not used to that, they could possibly start becoming annoyed and want to distance
yeah.
themselves.
Then they can, you can sometimes and trust me, I'm telling you something that I've done so many times in my life years ago. Like I finally figured it out, but for a long time I did the same thing. Tried to do all the work, tried to control the situation, and it's exhausting. It's totally exhausting. But yeah,
See,
go ahead.
yeah, hey, how good are you with astrology?
I don't do astrology at all.
Okay.
I never got into the astrology thing. I was going to at one point, but I don't know. I couldn't like connect with it. I just,
Right.
for me,
Yeah.
I like astrology.
I get like a little bit of it, but I'm not like fully engulfed in it. Like I'm in it up to my knees, and that's about it.
Like Jason, he's really into it. Yeah.
No, he's fully engulfed. I'm up to my knees.
Yeah, I put my toes in a little bit, but that was about it.
But it's, if you're not used to that type of attention, and then you're getting all the attention, you could be either, number one, have fear, like, okay, why is this happening? I'm not,
Yeah,
like,
fear. I think it's fear. I think it's
yeah,
fear of abandonment. Fear. For
yes,
me, it was fear that
Be-
that.
because there's that feeling of the love bombing. I mean, and that person could genuinely be putting forth their best effort, but you'd be like, oh, okay, just waiting for the other, you know, ball to drop and for something bad to happen, you know.
Yeah,
Um,
exactly. It's we take our past experiences into our current relationship, and they're not the same, but we think it's going to be the same.
mhm.
Yeah,
And
it's hard. I
see,
think relationships are not easy, but
mhm,
that's one thing I do know though about relationships that's really great is that we learn every time we learn something, or we need to be learning something. There's some lesson to learn about ourselves with each relationship.
mhm.
And that's with friends too, not just, romantic
Yes, no,
relationships.
completely.
We always want to learn something out of life experiences. If we don't, we just keep doing it over and over and over. And I totally did that for a long time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got stuck in cycles too. Hi, Miss Sherry. Hi, Brenda. Um, we are here to do readings. This is Divination night. We are just having our talk until someone is ready.
Is anybody
So
ready?
no, not anybody yet.
Okay.
So just put your date of birth in the comments, and we will get going.
But
So
one thing I wanted to ask you about was I looked at a few of your videos, just kind of getting the idea of how you do your show. And I noticed you have this bowl, and whatever you pull, that's the style of reading that you do. And I was like, uh-oh, that was a little nerve-wracking for me because I'm thinking, well, what if I don't do that type of reading?
no. That's cauldron readings. That's my cauldron readings. I do that in like the fall of the year around Samhain, Halloween, using the cauldron.
Oh,
And
okay.
okay, hold on, I'll show you because I keep it close by at all times.
I thought I saw one that was different than that. It looked like it was clear.
I actually used the fishbowl at one point in time, and I'm like, no, the cauldron's more me. but yeah, all of my different types. Now I do have some new decks and stuff like that. We coming. So for the end of the year, we'll be looking for those new things. Okay. All right, Miss Regina, are you ready for some readings?
I'm ready. I'm ready to
Okay.
go.
So we got Miss Sherry up first. Now, how do you do yours? Do you need a question? Do you do general? How do you do it?
I like to do specific question readings. Yeah.
Okay.
They don't have to give me every detail of the situation, but
Okay.
just a specific question that they need an answer for from their angels and spirit guides.
Okay. All right. We'll wait for them to respond with that.
Are we waiting for the question? Is that what we're doing?
Yeah, we're waiting for a question because they got their birth dates up. They're ready to go. It's just waiting for a question.
No problem.
Because I did not specify that what you needed to do your readings. I apologize.
No, it's okay.
So while we wait, okay. So Debbie got hers first, 3/12/58, romance. So
we were born almost at the same time.
Really?
2 years apart.
Okay.
Yeah.
When's your birthday?
7/4/56.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So we're very close in age.
Okay, so she's wondering what's going on in romance for her.
Okay, so
what's your spirit guide to tell her about love?
What was the first name?
Debbie.
Her first name? What was it?
Debbie.
Debbie, sorry.
Okay.
So Debbie, my question is, are you asking about if you're going to meet somebody special, or are you asking about a particular person? And if so, what's their first name?
Okay. And Sherry has her specific question ready. So take them as they go. Meeting someone.
Okay. All right. Give me just a moment. Now I do use a pendulum, so it just helps me get centered on the question. So, all right, let me see. Well, I'm not sure, Debbie, what you've been doing, but it feels like it's not going to be that long. It feels like maybe 2 months approximately. Now, timelines aren't exact, so keep that in mind. So it could be a little bit longer or a little less time, but it's not going to be very long. Are you actively looking or something? Because that's what I'm getting.
Okay. Any do you pick up anything about the person?
Yeah, okay. So give me a second on that. Is it a male or female that she's looking for, or
male? Yes, male, and yes, she's actively looking.
Cool. Okay. Okay. This man feels to me like he's ready to meet somebody to have a committed relationship with, like you are, Debbie. It feels like he's had enough of being alone, and he has a good sense of humor. It feels like he's good financially. It doesn't feel like he's, major wealthy or anything, but it does good financially. He just seems like someone that you could be yourself with, and he could be himself with you. It just feels relaxing. Yeah.
Good.
Good fit.
Good. I like it.
Yeah.
All right. Up next, we have Miss Sherry, and her birthday is 5/2/63. And her question is, I have a situation with my grandsons. How will it turn out?
Okay, just a little more specific question would be great. So, so you have a situation with two grandsons, one grandson, and what are their first
Two.
names? And what's the specific question about the situation that I can help with? Just a little bit more.
This is one of those situations where I know what she's asking, but I don't want to ask it because I don't, if I am wrong, then I don't want to taint the message. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I do. Is she answering?
She's working on it.
Okay, no problem. Okay, this is my, I think I'm going the right direction, or am I? No, wait. Let's, no, this way. Okay. Come on now. Where are you? That is so bizarre. There's my cat.
Well, hello, Autumn.
That's
Okay.
Autumn.
So her question is, right now they're in my care. If my daughter loses her rights, I want to be able to adopt them. So
Okay.
that's the question.
Okay.
Is she going to be able to? And yes, there is two. I was right. I was right about that.
Okay. Okay. Give me just a moment. So it feels like you're going to get custody of them. It feels like whoever's going to take the kids, it's feeling like they're going to give her chances to, I don't know if they've already given her chances, but sometimes these CPS people or whoever, they bend over backwards to try to get the parents and the children together. So the adoption thing may take a while because of that.
I think the boys' names are Dominic and Alexander. And I think they have been in placement with her for 6 months, 8 months.
Oh, they're with her now.
Yeah, in placement, but the adoption has not gone through yet.
Oh, I see. Okay. Okay.
So see, I waited to say anything, so you could work your magic. And,
Yeah,
it's
funny because I got that she was going to get custody, but I didn't realize she already had it.
Yeah.
But
it's just the adoption part.
It's still feeling like they're going to give her more time. So I'm getting that it's somewhere around another 6 months or something before they finally go, okay, she's not going to change. She's not going to get better, at least not right now. And the boys do need you, Debbie. I definitely feel like they need you.
That's Sherry.
Oh, sorry, Sherry.
Okay.
Sorry, great with names. Sorry, Sherry. Yeah, it does feel like the boys really definitely need you. And there's a really good bond there between you and the boys. One a little closer than the other one, but they both really love you and feel safe with you.
Yeah. Oh, they're great together. She's had them for 4 months.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it'll take some time for the adoption, but yes, ultimately, it feels like she'll be able to adopt them. Yes.
Yeah.
Unless her daughter does some extreme turnaround. Yeah. And it doesn't feel like, what's her daughter's first name?
I do not know that. I'll have to wait for her to respond.
It feels like her daughter, even without her first name, it's feeling like she makes progress, but it doesn't last long. So that's why it's going to take time, because they're hoping one of these times she's actually going to make the change and have it be permanent. But
right.
I don't, it doesn't feel like she's going to be able to.
Mm-hmm.
I have a niece that's been going through that same exact thing with her daughters,
Mhm.
two granddaughters.
Yeah. Now Dominic is the one that I'm most familiar with, not so much Alexander. But Dominic has been with Sherry primarily the majority of his life. He's 12 now.
Oh, wow.
So
Okay. So they were gone but came back 4 months ago. Is that the situation?
um, he he was pretty much staying with her all the time. Like
Mhm.
she Sherry never had custody, but he was always staying there. Elizabeth is her daughter's name.
Elizabeth.
Um, yeah,
I just wanted to check with her name to see if I'm getting the same thing. Hold on.
yeah.
It's possible, that it's so hard to get a good feeling on this right now because of her, because it's so hard to tell. I think she really wants her boys back, but she doesn't want to give up her lifestyle. And so it's really hard to get a good read on it, whether my initial reaction is that she's not going to be able to do it, and it's going to end up being an adoption before she's even able to do it, if she will at all, if that makes sense. Did that make sense what I said?
Yeah. She said that the husband is an addict.
Mm. So she's choosing her husband over the kids, or she has issues too.
I'm not aware of that. It's tough.
Yeah. Well, good luck with all of that, Sherry. I know it's really painful and difficult not being able to make it permanent and always being up in the air with it.
We're rooting for you, Sherry.
Yes, absolutely.
So I actually had another question for you because we're down to less than our last 10 minutes of the show. So you do energy work and psychic and readings and everything. Do you work them together? I mean, do you have things that you mesh together?
Well, I can do that with my private clients. Yes, when I work
Okay.
on a platform, not so much.
Oh no, huh?
But when I work with my private clients, yes, I can do readings for them and do Reiki healing and prayer treatment and whatever they need to
So
get.
you've mentioned that whenever you were talking about your son earlier, what is your prayer treatment?
So prayer treatment, and so instead, I to keep it simplified because it's like steps of the treatment, but to keep it simplified, it's not like saying, "Oh God, please, please, can I have this? Can I have this? Can you please give me this? I promise that I'll never do that again if you just do this for me." It's none of that pleading kind of praying.
Mm-hmm.
It's more of a prayer where you get in tune with you're one with the universe or one with God, whatever you want to call it, God, universe, nature, whatever it is. That getting into through the prayer, getting into being one with the all, and that we're all connected. And then from there realizing that the all, capital A, is always providing for us, is always that we have the right to happiness and body, mind, and spirit health and wholeness and prosperity, all of that stuff, that we have a birthright to all of that through the universe, because it's constantly giving, always giving, never ending. And so it's about that, and it's just knowing that with the person. And there's something about doing prayer treatment that is immediately gets my focus and hopefully their focus on what's really true and not the appearances of things. Using
Okay.
Debbie or using Sherry. Was it Sherry who was the one with the grandkids?
Yes.
Sherry. Yeah. So using Sherry as an example. So the fear of, am I going to lose these boys or am I going to be able to adopt them? The prayer treatment is about, that everything in the universe is doing everything for the best interest of those boys. And that the boys are well taken care of and they have everything they need and they're living a happy, healthy life, whatever that looks like. And it's probably with Sherry.
Yeah.
But that's what prayer treatment does. And a lot of times when you do prayer treatment, like I went through this where my daughter's dad was trying to get custody of her. They have two dads because the first one died, but he was trying to get custody of her, and it was 2 years of constant. This is way when they were really young, when I was still new to like the spiritual connection thing, and I remember that Sheila, my spiritual mentor that still does do prayer treatment for me, said, you have to be at a place where you can let go of the outcome. That based on the prayer, that if their best interest, because I know that prayer treatment works. I know it works because I've used it for years and I know that it works. And so if I'm praying for, her boys, for her grandsons, for example, that they have everything that they need, everything they want and more, and that they're happy and healthy and well taken care of, and that I know that to be the truth, that's what, the universe is giving to her and to those boys, then you have to let go of the outcome, because holding on to the outcome, it keeps you in fear. But if you're thinking, okay, so I had to get to the place where I was like, okay, if he's supposed to have custody of her, which I didn't think was a good idea, but if he's supposed to get custody, then that means that that's the best thing for Serena, my daughter. That's the best thing for her. And as soon as I did that, literally as soon as I did that, the next day he called and apologized to me for the last 2 years and said, I want you to have custody of her. You're a good mom. I just want to have, I want to be able to see her, obviously. And it was over like overnight when I finally was like, okay. It didn't mean that I wasn't still nervous about it, but I just finally was like, yeah, if that's the life she's supposed to have is with her dad, then I have to let go of the outcome. And but God, the universe, whatever, knows the best. The universe knows the best for all of us, right?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
It's if I don't know, feeling certainty and feeling faith, and then seeing things come forth that you never thought possible is just absolutely amazing.
It really is. It really is. Yeah. And I keep reminding my son, because he's really going through a lot, a really scary time. But I keep reminding him that, and I'm not, I told him, I said, Jesus said, we only need a mustard seed of faith. And a mustard seed is really, really tiny, teeny tiny, and we can move the mountain. And mountain is whatever the mountain is. Am I going to be able to adopt these boys? Am I going to end up with custody, or is she going to go with her dad? That those mountains are removed with just a little tiny bit of faith. So you could be in fear and feel insecure and everything, but you can still trust in the prayer treatment and know that it's getting taken care of. And that's what I remind and my son finally got it. He's like, okay, I keep remembering. I'm really scared, Mom. I'm really scared, but I keep remembering I only need a mustard seed of faith. And we keep remembering that, because he's terrified. He's terrified right now. And I'm like, that's right. You can be terrified and still have everything turn out really great for you, so.
All right. Well, thank you, Miss Reginia. So let's tell everybody where they can find you at. Now, everybody, if you go to where you are watching this live, all the links are in that description. You can go there, but tell us about these locations.
Okay.
So,
Well, they can find me on a couple of platforms. One is keen.com. And the link to me is in there. And you probably have your link in there too, Gwendolyn.
nope.
But oh, you don't? Okay. Well, anyway,
How about you?
you can do readings there if you wanted to. You can do it through Terrapolis, which is also another link that's going to be in there. And you can do private readings with me by calling me. I think I gave you the phone number, didn't I? Did I give you
I did not put the phone number in here. I put the website.
You put the website. Okay. Yeah. So the phone number, if you go to Facebook, you can go to Angel Readings by Regina Facebook page. I post my phone number there for private readings. And then, of course, angelreadingsbyregina.com. You can set up an appointment with me that way, too. So there's quite a few ways that you can find me.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I'm not hard to find.
No. And it's unique. Angel Readings by Regina. You don't see that everywhere. So, well,
Yeah.
you see it everywhere, but there's not like a whole lot of like different numbers after it. Like,
Yeah, there's not. Yeah, you'll see readings by somebody named Regina, but if you just do angelreadingsbyregina.com, that's going to be me. So, yeah. I managed to get that .com somehow. I don't know how I lucked out with that, but there you go.
Thank goodness. All right, darling. Thank you so much for tonight, and we'll let you go so you can get ready for your next interview. You are a busy lady.
Thank you. Thank you so
Keep
much
it up.
thank you so much for inviting me. This has been really fun. And thank you
You're
everyone
welcome.
for being here.
Okay.
You have a good night.
Good night.